The Wandering Earth tells the story of the good Earth's misbehaving sibling who descends into drug addiction, promiscuity, and crime. No, it doesn't. Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Vladimir Komarov, and this is my review of The Wandering Earth. It was released on February 5th, the first day of the Chinese New Year, and February 8th in Australia and North America, but not Hong Kong. It's not even listed as coming soon. Luckily for all of us, I went to Foshan near Guangzhou during the Chinese New Year holiday, and I watched The Wandering Earth. It's based on a short story by Hugo Award-winning author Liu Sijin. And I know I mispronounced that name, and I apologize, but trust me, it's not the last time it's going to happen in this review. In the movie, the Earth is going to be swallowed up by the sun, and humanity along with it, unless drastic actions are taken. A decision is made to propel the Earth out of the galaxy to a new home, using thousands of huge thrusters. Somewhere in America, Neil deGrasse Tyson's head just exploded. But movies have never really been about accuracy, so let's just keep moving. At the beginning of the movie, Wu Jing leaves Earth to take up a mission on a space station that will guide the Earth to its new home. He leaves his son in care of his father, played with commendable skill by Mantat. We jump ahead 17 years and the son is now an adult. He's not the most well-behaved kid in the world, but when you haven't been allowed outside to play in almost 20 years, it's understandable. He scoops up his adopted sister. I swear I'm not spoiling anything. And the two of them set off to see something they've never seen before, the surface of the Earth. That's where I'll leave it because anything more would get a little spoily. But it's no surprise, given the genre, that there's a big problem that might destroy the Earth, wipe out humanity, yada yada yada. And let's face it, that's really not what's important about this movie. What's important is that this is China's first big science fiction blockbuster. It's directed by Frank Guo. He previously directed Lee's Adventure, starring J.C. Chan, and My Old Classmate. The Wandering Earth is his biggest film yet, by far. It took him 4 years and a lot of money, but he got the job done. And let me say that The Wandering Earth is at least as good as Armageddon. And I know that's a loaded statement. Then again, it's actually a slightly better film, if only because I don't have to keep wondering if I've somehow left Aerosmith's greatest hits on another device somewhere in the house. But The Wandering Earth isn't supposed to make, the ghost of Stanley Kubrick fear irrelevance. It's supposed to entertain people, not redefine cinema. So it's a good blockbuster, even if that cuts both ways. Blockbusters are to be looked at, not thought about. A lot of the visuals in this film are world-class. The rendering of planets, specifically of Jupiter and the Earth, are not just impressive, they're beautiful. I watched this movie in 3D on a giant screen, and I almost want to see it again in 2D just so I can stare at it a bit more easily. The set designs are really detailed and actually kind of convincing. And I want to especially mention the interior of some of the vehicles because I just noticed them. Do you remember The Heavenly Kings, Daniel Wu's mockumentary about the fake boy band called Alive? Well, one of the members was Andrew Lin, an actor who had, before coming to Hong Kong, worked in visual effects in Hollywood. He worked on Alien 3, and since returning to FX work in Asia, has worked on movies like Dream Home and Zombie Fight Club. His company, Cinemorph, worked on The Wandering Earth. Andrew and I have talked at length about how attention to detail is important, both in stories and in sets. I was really impressed when I saw the sets in The Wandering Earth, and so later when I found out that Andrew had worked on them, I was happy for him, but not really surprised. He always does stellar, pun intended, work. I'm very grateful for the work he did on this movie, and you will be too. At least once there seemed to be a background that was a matte painting. And while that might seem archaic, I liked the way it looked because it evoked older science fiction movies that used to use that technique quite a bit. And so I just liked it. Here's the other thing that's really important to keep in mind. This movie's budget was apparently around $50 million US. That's less than it cost to make both halves of John Woo's Red Cliff. It's significantly less than they spent making The Forbidden Kingdom. Woof. So when you think of it in those terms, you really can't criticize any of the visual shortcomings or any of the other shortcomings of this movie, and there aren't that many. The special effects in The Crimes of Grindelwald aren't 4 times as good as The Wandering Earth, but that movie cost 4 times as much to make. Some people say that, oh, Wu Jing was the wrong actor for the role, but Wu Jing, the actor, was one of the people that invested in this film and kept it going and made it possible to finish and therefore for all of us to watch. Besides, I actually liked his performance in this movie. I've said before, I think he's a good actor. I don't think he was wooden at all. You know what I think? I think he was an astronaut who had just spent 17 years on a space station. And he's watching things happening on Earth that he's powerless to help with or change or anything. The 2 young actors playing the kids apparently aren't really famous yet. This actor, whose name I won't mispronounce for his own good, he does have a little bit of the little fresh meat about him, but in this case it kind of fits his character, so I didn't really mind. I've heard that people are kind of complaining about Zhao Jinmai, who plays Dodo, the stepdaughter, and I hope I pronounced her name correctly. But you know what? It's not her fault. She's not given much of anything to do except stand around watching guys do stuff. Kind of like, Liv Tyler in Armageddon, but I don't think that Zhao Jinmai's father sang a bunch of songs on the soundtrack. The only other noticeable female character was played by Chu Jingjing, but she spends almost the entire movie in an exoskeleton and a helmet, but she was good. There really aren't that many women in this movie at all, and it's almost a little bit weird. Wu Jing starts the movie a widower. There's no love story in this movie, but that might have to do with the film's intended, domestic market. On-screen romance in China is very different than in Hollywood. There's not going to be any kind of stuff like at the end of The Fifth Element. Did you have a multi-pass? The Wandering Earth is very much a Chinese movie, and it's also a Spring Festival movie. That's what Chinese or Lunar New Year is called in China, at least, officially. Now that holiday figures in the story, and Chinese culture is explicitly mentioned more than once. So is family, although, the plot and the trailer kind of make that obvious. The only thing that could have made The Wandering Earth more Chinese would be showing either or both of these 2 young people being really, really good at math or reciting classical Chinese poetry or a musical instrument, because they'd virtually never been allowed outside to play. You didn't think their parents would allow them to just sit around and watch TV and waste time, do you? The Wandering Earth is a very big, very significant, and very important achievement for the Chinese film industry. It's not necessarily a great cinematic achievement, but like I said, it's really not supposed to be. It's supposed to be an awe-inspiring blockbuster, and it is. Hollywood may have a head start, but the Chinese film industry is catching up. I enjoyed The Wandering Earth, maybe even more than I expected to, and I was very, very positively impressed by it, and I think you would be too. The politics in this movie are actually very subtle. There's very few of them. I'm going to do a different video because I know how people feel when I talk about politics, so I'll put it somewhere else, okay? But I can definitely recommend that you watch this movie. Watch it in 3D, watch it on the biggest screen you can find, get the vibrating seats, go the whole 9 yards. This is the kind of movie for it. And take the time to look at the movie, not just watch it. The visual effects are really great, and I don't know why my voice is breaking up like this, but hey, what are you going to do? If you don't get a chance to watch it that way, wait till you can buy a disc or otherwise legally watch it. Don't steal this movie. Click on my Patreon page. That way I can go see a doctor to find out what's wrong with my throat. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sounding more and more like Brenda Vaccaro. I need your help. I need money, please. Now I sound like Harvey Firestein. If you don't send me money, God knows where this is going to lead. So please help me. Send me some money. And my voice is going. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now it's Joan Rivers. Help me. If you enjoyed this review, please let me know. If you didn't, please let me know. And if you like the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon.